Alright, the jerk is one of the most technical dependent lifts out of the three: snatch, clean, and jerk. The biggest, or the most important thing for the jerk is to get a nice straight dip and drive, is to get a lot of power from your legs, really driving the bar up. So to do that, you can start off with a few exercises. But I'll go over positions first. First, you want to get the bar in the front rack position. Just like we talked about for the clean, you want all the weight to be supported by the torso. So all the weight is right here, is supported by the torso. If I put my hands on the bar, the weight's not in my hands when I do the dip drive. It's not like this. It's all on the torso when I do the dip drive. So to do the dip drive, I like to bring my feet a little bit closer, turn the toes out, put all the weight in the heel, and now I like to stick my tailbone out and really kind of arch my whole back. What this does is it allows me to keep the back tight so that you can make sure you go straight up and down. If the tailbone is, or if the lower back is weak, you might find yourself kind of tucking the tailbone forward, as you come up, and it'll kind of make the bar go in a strange direction. So ideally, keeping that whole back tight, and then just bending the knees and going. So at the bottom of the dip drive, the tailbone is tucked out, the back's arched. Ideally, your whole palm is on the bar. The elbows can go down, that's good, but the main goal is to have this bar being supported by your torso. If your elbow's down here makes you lose the support of the torso, then they should be up a little bit higher. But if you can keep them down and still keep the weight on the torso, that's ideal. So here, at the bottom of the dip drive, you bend your knees, the weight stays on the heel, the torso is straight up. This position is very similar to the power position. This is where you dip down to get all of your, get the most power out of your quads and your hips to drive that bar up. A few things to keep in mind for the dip drive is the tempo of the dip drive. You want to move with the bar down and then explode up. One of the most important things for the dip drive is the change of direction. You want to be able to change directions quickly. You don't want to dip down and then pause and kind of lose some oscillation and then go. You want to go down and right back up. Nice, fast change of direction. Now if you go down too fast, that bar is going to slam on you and it's going to make it really hard to change directions fast. So the tempo is a really big part of the jerk. Move down nice and smooth with the bar and then change directions and drive up. So to get some practice with the dip drive, doing some push presses is a good way to get that practice. Really focusing on arching the whole back, keeping the tailbone tight, and just moving down with the bar and driving it up with the legs. After you kind of get a hang of the dip drive there, you can move into a power jerk, which is just catching with the feet square. After you do a few power jerks, you kind of got a better feel for the dip drive. Power jerks really remind you to dip drive straight up and down and really finish the drive. Now going into the split, there's a few different ways that you can find out your split. One of my favorite is standing and then just taking little steps right here until when you go down, you get a right angle and a right angle, and then just stand up. This back knee stays bent. This front shin is vertical or angled back a little bit. The weight's in the heel on the front foot, and the back foot weight's in the ball of the toe, and right here. The hips are in the same position as they would be if they were standing up. The hips aren't angled this way, so you don't stand with the hips like this. You want to be vertically supported. So right here, the hips are vertically supported just like I was standing up. The weight would be directly over my hips. About 55% of your weight, 45. It's so close that it'd be like 50-50. Try to keep the weight even on your feet. And then just getting into this position and staying there for a long time, maybe holding a bar and doing some presses, is a good way to reinforce it. Also, notice looking from this direction, my feet are displaced, so I have stability side to side and front to back. You don't want to catch the split like this and have to fight for your balance. So when you catch it, catch out wide. Always recover, front foot, back foot, up. The hips stay in the same spot the whole time. When that bar is overhead, the bar should be behind your head. You should be reaching up. The bar kind of comes back in the wrist like this. You don't really want to catch it straight on. You want to catch it with the wrist cocked back a little bit. Alright, now for going from the dip drive into the split, this is where some people really mess it up. Some people decide to really focus on the split, and when they split, they really reach far back with the back leg, and that just puts the hips behind the bar. So ideally, you want to go up, move the legs, and you want the hips to stay underneath the bar the whole time to be vertically stable. So what I like to do is I finish the dip drive, and then I want to plant my feet down. My feet split, but the majority of the pressure is I'm putting them down. So it's ideally they would hit at the same time, or the back foot a split second earlier, but you shouldn't be able to tell if it hits a split second earlier. It should be at the same time. Never the front foot and then the back foot. So it's so we'll try that with the bar. That's the jerk.
Alright, here are a few jerks from a workout I did that day. I did 6 singles at 137 kilos. As you can see, that was a pretty good jerk. There's a couple in here that weren't that great. Once you notice on this one, I do a freeze frame on this next part, is that the right foot is a little bit too far in, that right front foot should be out a little bit more to be more stable from left to right. It's a little bit line wired. And again, you can see it on this jerk, how that front leg just kind of came in a little bit too much. It should be out a little bit more. As you can see, straight down from the hips, it's kind of under the hip, and then the back foot is on the outside of the hip. They both should be a little bit more on the outside. That was a good jerk, that last one. Nice, good, straight dip and drive. And there's another one. Alright, here's the jerk. Watch it in full speed first. Get the line from the front of the heel. The bar path stays behind that line the whole time. So we'll watch it again. Just stood up from a clean. Right here, I get tight. And you can see, the back tightens up. I get my breath of air, kind of get the chest big. The elbows are down. Well, the other way. Elbows are down. Let's get rid of those. Alright, now, as we dip down, you can see that the hips stay in about the same spot. let's put a vertical line right there. They don't really move forward or backwards at all. Now, as I keep going up, you can see that they stay in that line and they drive vertically. And that bar ends up a little bit behind, which is fine, which is good. So here in this split, this is a good split position. You can see the front shin's vertical, the back knee is bent, weights on the toes on this foot, and it should be on the heel on this foot. The head's through, and the bar's locked out overhead. Right here, the weight is directly over the hips, over the base of support, and that's what you want. So let's clear all that and watch this in slow motion.